We want to ask you about your thoughts on campusX and the projects that you have for campusX.
campusX is about the vision of expanding the university beyond what currently is, beyond just the physical campus. And I think it's to think through and to innovate what will be the future of university educations is in the future. And I think the pandemic itself, I would say, accelerate this desire and accelerate this future thinking of what education will be for university in the future, right? Because through the pandemic, we realize sometimes not only that students cannot come to campus to do their learning, but also we realize that some students, they prefer to interact and to learn through online learnings and through remote learning. And so what will be the future of university educations? And I think and that's where campusX are coming in. What are the challenges as we move on into cyber physical campus? What are the opportunity there, where the technologies are for us, and how we as educators actually can make use of this to enhance learning, especially for the tertiary educations. Yeah. So I think that's what I have in mind about campusX project, and that's where I think I'm quite excited to be part of the campusX projects. I have a few projects that are aligned with campusX. One of it is related to collaborative augmented reality robot applications for learning programming. And so this basically hopefully to bridge where the cyber and the physical campus are. Students can learn programming and motivate students learning programming in a way that we not only use like a physical robot, but also a cyber and a virtual robot, but also in the physical space. We can think of maybe they can learn at different space at the same time using connected and interacting with the same virtual robot. And we want to study, for example, like how this collaborative learning across space in the same virtual and physical space can help students to learn programming, how it motivate them, for example, where's the collaborative aspect can enhance learning in this virtual and physical space. The other project that I'm working on also is related to creating an AI chatbot where hopefully it can create or it can give immediate feedback to students. So one of the things that we realize is that not only like students learn in the same physical space, but also they tend to learn at different timing, right? And then if we can give students feedback immediately wherever they are when they are learning, we know that immediate feedback actually increase students learning. So they don't need to wait for them to come to campus to meet with the instructors to get feedback with respect to their learning. What if we can use AI, for example, to give automated feedback, and not just automated feedback? What if we can create social learning, connecting different users across the cyber physical space, for example, through chat groups or maybe like video calls or this kind of thing related to the problem that they are facing. So I think there's something that we are keen to explore. We have like a few ideas on how we think like AI can and learning analytics can help students to learn remotely and even collaboratively and even like connecting them together. So one of the things that we realize also about AI sometimes is the lack of social intimacy and how like we can actually connect them through even though they are at different space and also at different times. Yeah, I also have like some work together with Games Lab, for example, on how we can gamify the university experience, how we can connect their experience in the physical campus, but also throughout their learning journeys in their university life, right? How it can be used, for example, to motivate them to achieve certain things that they want to achieve, to create their own personalized learning journeys, And we know that games actually motivates people. So there's certain things in games that I think we as educators can learn as well, to help students to be motivated in learning. Yeah.
What motivates you to do such projects beyond teaching and your disciplinary research?
I think without doubt, I think we know that educations are changing, and I think we as educators cannot be just a passive spectators looking into the change and then trying to catch up to what are the changes. Um, and I personally believe that we should be the driver of the change as well, to make good use of the technology that we have now to impact learning. We have some of the technology that's already available, but how do we make use of it to improve learning? And I think it is possible, and I think we already can make progress with the existing learning analytics, the existing augmented reality technology, whatever that is. We can actually apply them and study how actually it benefits students, right? And I think the next questions may be like on how to scale it, to implement it into the actual classes. That would be nice. But I mean, for me, I would say that we don't want to be just like a passive spectators looking into the change that's happening in educations, but also to really be part of the change and to make changes as well in educations. We also realize that students are changing. I mean, like their preference in terms of learning are changing. For example, some students, they actually mentioned they really like recorded lessons. They like to be able to have like some hybrid options. There are times they want to come to campus. There are times they want to have their lessons online, all these kind of things. Students also, I mean, like faculty, we don't have the monopoly of so-called the knowledge these days. Students take lessons from online lessons, online courses everywhere. And so I think we want to rethink what is our role as educators and how we can make use of technologies to make educations better. Yeah.
How do you manage time then? It's going to be a lot of different projects going on.
It's always not easy. I mean, time is limited for everyone. But at the same time, I guess time is also shared by everyone. And that's where I think like working together with people actually helps. I mean, like we are working with Games Lab, for example, with you learning Sciences Lab. And I think when collaborations are there, it makes certain things more efficient and more effective. I don't need to have all the knowledge that needed to make impact on educations. For example, maybe I'm not the best expert on education research methodologies, but the Learning Sciences Lab can advise me on that. I can help to design how the experiment should be. I may not be the best expert, for example, on AI or machine learning, but I have another colleague who can help me to advise on this particular area. So I think working together is great. And I think that's the distinctive thing about SUTD also, which I like. I mean, we have a small community in this university, and I think it makes us easier to work across discipline, across department, across schools, across the pillars, which I think is really great. Yeah. And the campusX project itself is like really bottom up. I mean, like the university encourages the project to come from the faculty, not like being enforced from the university. So it is the faculty who have the desire on how to improve their learning, on how they envision the class will be with all these technologies and in the future. And we realize that some of us, we have the same common vision, same common desire, the same common you know, this adventure thing to play around together and to make things better. Yeah.